Hola, hola, hola. ¿Qué tal? Film family. xIsusko, your host, aka the time scheduler on all those social media thingy bobbies. Timescheduler.com. Go on, check out. There's some stuff there for film students. There's some questions that have been answered if you're looking to get into the film game. You can also sign up to the email list that I've started beginning of the year. Do kind of one a week. And it's just news or thoughts or things that I had, questions that I had even when I started in the film industry. So go and sign up, check that out. I want to thank everyone who's donated to the charity walk that I'm doing Friday 26th of June, this Friday 2020, for all of you listening in the future. So you don't need to do anything. Really appreciate everyone's I just really appreciate everyone kind of giving in a time where you might know what for months. The 10, 20 quids that you've all given has meant so much. Work's coming back. I'm going to be seeing you soon. It's going to be weird to not be able to give you hugs and kisses and handshakes, but we'll figure out. I've started working and we've got this little kind of funny little foot shake that we're doing. So thanks for coming back. We've got a lovely, great week. I hope you're having an amazing time, you amazing people. And let's do it.
Let's get started.
Time. Right, ladies and gentlemen, today, not only have we got a legend in the game, we've got a legend of a human being, an absolute superstar on the ones and twos. Not only has he entertained you on a film set, he's actually entertained you at studios, at the rap parties, and probably at other parties that have just been some of the greatest experiences that you've ever had as a human being. I'm proud to say that he's seen me grow up as a snotty-nosed little kid and a runner, and I can't even remember where it was, but you just at those points where you just need a little bit of a fucking release valve. I go over to this man. He just helps me just realize that actually it is a fish finger commercial that we're making, so don't worry about it. And let's just get on with the plunking and all the rest of it. So look, no more from me. What is your name, sir, and what is your role on the call sheet?
Hello, my name is Von Adams, and I am a video op of CCTV or video playback. That's me. You know what I mean? Video Village. You know what I mean?
The whole lot. Yeah,
The
center of the film set. That's it. Let's just call it what it is. Let's just call it what it
Yeah.
is. So what does being a video op, a CCTV, what does it mean to you?
What does it mean to me? Do you know what it means to me? It means that that we can push on through the day and by delivering imagery. You know what I mean? Which everyone can take a look at, whether you be the director, whether you be the first AD, whether you be makeup, whether you be the art department, or whether you be the clients. You know what I mean? We can all tune in to what me and several other video ops do, and hopefully sometimes we can tell the day down to being a shorter day rather than a longer day. You know what I mean? With what we do, and obviously the ultimate goal, which is to see what we're shooting and to make sure we're happy with it. You know what I mean? That's what we do. You know what I mean?
You are the set, like I said it in the intro, but you are that kind of center of the film set. It's like everything else happens, but everything comes into it. Like you kind of go, it's like second ADs are coming for timings, first ADs are coming for checking. It's like it's such an important part. Was it always as important? Before I got onto set, has it always been that central hub, or has it become a bigger role or a more focused role of everyone's attention? Since digital and nowadays.
Yeah, I think you're dead right there, and I would imagine I don't know whether Tony Crouch, it touched on this. Since we went digital, it became a different ballgame. When we were analog, you know what I mean. We would have the focus pullers come over to us, and they'd be sweating a bit. Is this sharp? You know what I mean? And and in my early days, I just used to go, sorry to all you focus pullers out there that I've you know, maybe like, you know, been economic with the truth, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, of course it was in focus. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, don't worry.
Because, you know, yeah, because, you know, in them days, we were looking at really fuzzy screens, you know what I mean? And then all of a sudden, you know, we got into the realms of digital, which opened up a whole new world, you know what I mean? A whole new world of, you know, what people actually needed from us, you know what I mean? So, you know, and then all of a sudden we're delivering like, you know, takes, you know, like picture takes of screenshots, basically, or, you know, of what we've been shooting, you know, and certain people would need those. And as you said, you know, you'd have, you know, first thing, you know, about 11 o'clock, I have a second AD right to me, and they go, "What time did we turn over this morning?"
That's probably me. Yeah, always.
Yeah, don't worry, I'll let you know that. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? And then, you know, you've got, you know, we've got the thing with sound men, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Are you seeing time code on your system? You know what I mean? And that, you know what? And the funny thing is not so much now, you know, since we've moved into digital, the focus pullers all turn up with their own monitors and their own little bits of kit that keep them in focus, you know what I mean? Which is, you know, which is good for them, you know, because there's nothing worse than being on set and thinking that what you are doing may have a fundamental what's the word?
Negative impact on the
Negative
shoot.
impact on what we're doing. You know, it's not nice. It's not nice. You know, because I've been, you know, there's always in any job that we do, right, on set, there's always that possibility that what you do during the day either slows the shoot up, or you know what I mean, or causes a bit of a problem for it. It don't matter whether your makeup, whether you're second AD that's dealing with, you know, awkward talent, you know what I mean, whether you're the lighting gaffer whose boys are not pulling up, or you're not hitting the right spots for the DOP, or whether you're, you know, a video playback, you know what I mean, you can't get your system up quick enough, you know what I mean, in between location moves, you know what I mean. There's many ways to actually slow the shoot up or have a negative impact, and it's not nice to be that guy, you know what I mean. So you know, I think it's really important that, you know, and through my day, you know, I see, you know, I sit there and, you know, and I look about and I see what's going on, because once we're set up, we can then, you know, tune in to, you know, we come in the morning, we get ourselves together, we get to a position where we can shoot, and we've got the images, and they're going out to where they need to go to, and then we're set. Then, you know what I mean, then we can then tune in to the actual vibes which are actually going on the set, you know what I mean. And, you know, and sometimes, you know, I look around and I see people under pressure, you know what I mean, and, you know, and many a time, you know, I've sauntered up to a few people, and, you know, and I've said to them, you know, don't take it too seriously. You know, you've got to do your job. You have to deliver your job, and you know, and people do rely on you. But we're not saving lives here.
You're like the pupper of positive vibes.
Yeah.
It's like, come on.
We're not saving lives here. You know, we're doing an art form which should be enjoyable. You know what I mean? Because we're creative people. You know what I mean? And you know, and not all sets are like that. You know, some are a little bit more serious than others, and you know, and that comes with time, knowing when you can have a laugh and when you have to just keep your mouth shut.
I'm still learning that one.
I've learned my lesson on that, and I do, you know. And you know what the funny thing is now is that I get people coming up to me and they go to me, "You're a bit quiet," you know what I mean? And I'm like, "Not today, my friend." You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So, you know, it is. You know, it comes with, like, you know, it comes with the years of being on set. And you know what the funny thing is that I don't see myself as like an old timer in all of this, even though I've been doing this job now for 20 years. Wow. It's the longest job I've ever had. You know,
and always in video, or did you come in? Were you a runner?
No, I came in as a runner. And what happened was I was out of work. You know what I mean? And my wife said to me, you know, what's going on? What are you going to do with yourself? You know what I mean? I was in between. I was just floating about, really. I wasn't really DJing anymore. I wasn't.
I want to get into the DJing as well. So I do want to get into that history as well, man.
Yeah, I wasn't really DJing anymore. I was sort of like just I was sort of like wandering around aimlessly, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Not really doing anything, you know what I mean?
Mm.
And my missus said to me, listen, you got to pull yourself together. You know, you got to get yourself a job, right? And I was like, well, she's
Do you
going,
have kids? Was it the pressure
yeah,
of like a family and a kids and a mortgage? All of
I
that.
had 3 kids. You know, did I have 3 kids? No. I had 2 kids at the time. I had 2 kids at that time. You know, me and my partner weren't blessed with our daughter as of yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
she came around and she said to me, listen, my sister used to live with a first AD, you know what I mean, in LA, which I mean, there'll be a few people that are on this podcast who will know him. He's a mad Mancunian called Martin Serene, you know what I mean?
Nice.
It's a baptism of fire, my
Hey.
way into the industry. And basically what happened is that I went to work on set with Martin. I had a phone call with him. I rang him up and he went to me, yeah, I'm just going to let you know that we're only doing this because Holly's a really good mate of mine, you know what I mean? Which I found really frightening, really, you know what I mean? And, you know, I don't scare easy, but you know what I mean? It was like, okay, all right. And I can remember turning up to a shoot and the producer was, I don't know, do you know Malachi, Irish Mal?
No, it doesn't ring a bell.
No Irish Mal?
No.
He's a really nice producer. Anyway,
Yeah.
Malachi McAnally, I think his name is. I hope I've got that right. You know what I mean? Because I'm going to
We've got thousands of crew notes. It's all
like
good.
20 years on and you still don't know someone's last name. You know what I mean? So, anyway, so I turned up on this job, which was a music video, and I was dressed up to the nines. I turned up.
So what? Just how old were you? Were you like, you know, is it
I was
like
33. I was about 33 at the time.
33 as a runner, dressed up?
Yeah. I was about 32, 33, right? And I was starting running. And it's always an awkward one. Now that I've realised it, is the older you come into running, you know, you've got younger people sitting on set looking at you going, what have you done? You'd be starting this career path at that age, right? Yeah. So,
just tell us what you're wearing. I want to picture it. Yeah, go on.
You're going to laugh at this. So I had on like a really nice shirt with cufflinks on, right? A pair of trousers and a pair of shoes. I didn't know what I was turning up with. Yeah, I was a runner. Right?
Yeah.
And my shoe, by the end of the day, my feet were killing me because my shoes were really hurting. And I can remember Mal, and he still to this day, he tells everybody, it makes me really laugh. This man turned up with cufflinks on, in a shirt, a pair of shoes. He was better dressed than the artist, you know what I mean? And it's a really funny running joke.
Probably thought you would have like, oh, fuck, the artist has turned up. He's a little bit early. He's making everyone tease. Look at how humble he is.
And then I proceeded to be lifting bits of track and lights and things like that. And I was like, hold on, this is just not much off a building site, you know what I mean? So I quickly learned that.
Hold the cufflinks. Let me go pick the track up.
I quickly learned that is not the way to dress on set. You know what I mean? That was my first baptism of fire. And you know what? And I got a day's graft, and then I got like another 2 days after that. And then Martin rang me up and he said to me, which was something that was really, what's the word that I'm looking for? Really, it really brought me in. It was a really nice thing to do. He rang me up and he said to me, listen. It was after about 3 weeks. He said to me, "Listen, we're beyond this. What I told you about, you know, I'm giving you this bit of work because of Holly. I'm now giving you work because I really like the way that you conduct yourself, and you're really good to have on set." And then I proceeded to do. I was running like, you know, if you're a good runner, you'll run 7 days a week.
Oh, easy. Yeah.
And you know, and I was going from job to job, you know, and it was in the days of the Atomic Kitten and Blue and Elton John, Kylie Minogue, and we were just doing music videos. So, and in them days, you know what I mean, people weren't frightened to go past like 12 o'clock and pay triple time, and runners didn't get that. We didn't get any of that. We, you know, and I'm really glad that they now get what they deserve, because without any runners on a film shoot, it all goes to pot. They are the glue of everything. They're really important people, and they should be treated as that. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? And they shouldn't be looked down upon and frowned upon. You know what? A lot of the times, I'm going off on a bit of a tangent here, but it's really important I say this. And most runners that have come across me will realise the reason why I do this now, that when they hear this, is that at the end of the shoot, when I'm still packing up, and the runners are coming up going to me, Von, do you need a bit of help? And I go, no. You know, I'm all right. Or you know, I might accept a bit of help. But, you know, I always say to them at the end of the day, thank you very much, because I couldn't have done what I've done, what I've achieved today without having you there. You know what I mean? And I've said that to many runners, and they, you know, and they will know that. You know what I mean? Because you know, they're really important people. You know what I mean? And
you've been there. You've seen
yeah,
it.
exactly.
You know, and also probably coming in as a, you know, as an early 30-year-old who's probably got a lot more life experience and a lot more kind of, you know, your bullshitometer, for want of a better phrase, is just a lot higher. You know, you can very much suss out when someone's having a bit of a, you know, is having a bit of a dig or having a bit of this, and maybe those young runners don't feel like they can chirp up.
Yeah,
and you being able just to turn around and actually just thank them just shows them that even if they are 16, 17, 18, a grown man, a grown woman, an industry pro can still be thankful and have gratitude. I think that's it. That's the way.
Sure. I mean, I've always, you know, like, I think that the criteria for a good runner, right, is this. It doesn't matter where you're from. It doesn't matter what your education is, as long as you've got common sense. That's all you need, is good common sense and a little bit of an ability to be able to think, you know, outside the box and maybe one or two steps in front of most people. You know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? You know, and that's quite good, you know, for what you're doing, because, you know, we get asked as runners, you know, I'm going to say we, because I have been one, right?
Yeah.
We get asked to do stuff which is like, you know, like go and do like that whole thing of going to do shopping and you know, and I can remember being in Manchester on a job with Victoria Beckham and David Beckham in the height of their powers. You know what I mean? And you know, and it was you know, it was full of like real high security. You know what I mean? You know, it was just like the whole vibe of the job is that you get you know, on them jobs as a runner, you really do get to feel the pressure that is of the job. You know what I mean? Well, like most people do in their departments. But I can remember being there and thinking to myself, oh, you know, I'm kind of like, you know, I'm doing really good jobs now. You know what I mean? I'm not, you know, I've arrived. You know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. Kablank. I'm doing really good jobs. I've arrived now. You know what I mean? I know that I've actually got a foothold in this. You know what I mean? I've got to the level of doing good jobs as a runner. You know what I mean? And on that job, I sort of remember the bittersweet pill of the first AD, which was Martin Serena asking me to go and pick up the dog poo off the lawn, David or Victoria Beckham wouldn't tread in it. And I was like, I looked at him and I went, are you for real? You know what I mean? And he went, Von, go and pick up the dog poo. You know what I mean? And I just thought, you know what? I'm just going to do it. You know, I don't have a dog. You know what I mean? You know, to a lot of people, that would be not a problem. You know, but to a person that doesn't own a dog, you know what I mean? It's like, really? Have I got to do this? Yeah. You asked me to do that. So yeah, you know, they're all little funny stories like that. You know what I mean? And I've had some really funny ones in there.
I can't, like, just throw them. As soon as they come to you, you just fucking stop it. You just throw in the stories. Like, this could just be the podcast of stories. I don't give a fuck about Q-Take. I don't get, like, we don't need to talk tech.
Exactly.
But like, so you came in later than your average bear into the film industry. What then did you then just kind of look around and go, oh, I want to be a first, I want to be a DP and try things? Or how did the playback thing sit?
Okay, so how it worked for me is that in my previous life, you know what I mean, you know, of DJing, and also not a lot of people will know this about me. I trained as a sound engineer,
Really?
I paid to go on a course which was at the University of Surrey in Guildford, where they do the Tom Meister music degree course. You know, it's like high level stuff, and basically through the summertime, there was a course that was run there by a company called AV Campus, and basically they took on, like, I think it was probably about 20 students, and this was in the days when recording studios were all powerful. You know, I'm going back quite a few years now. And basically, you'd done this course, and then basically they would place you around studios in London, because the guy who actually put the course together was a guy called David Pope, who designed mixing consoles in studios.
Wow.
for those great big mixing consoles that you see in a studio. He designed one called the Neve Vatican, hence his name, David Pope. And it was a company called Neve, and they were like high end stuff, and he done that, and basically, like all of the studios knew him as a respected engineer. You know what I mean, and a craftsman. So he placed us around various studios in London, and my first job, believe it or not, was at Abbey Road.
No way.
Yeah. So I came out of the course and went to Abbey Road. You know what I mean, as an assistant. You know what I mean, and then ended up doing mastering, and working in the back rooms doing tape recordings, and I'm going back years and years and years. You know what I mean. And then what happened was that I left there. I got headhunted and went to work for Sony at Whitfield Street Studios, and so that was my baptism and fire. And all the time I was DJing as well, right? So when I actually made it into the film industry, you know what I mean, in the days of analog, you know what I mean, I would walk around and I'd see people like Philippe Clavier, you know what I mean,
Lovely
French
man.
film, doing, he's a great man. I love him. You know what I mean? I love all the other ops. You know what I mean? Yes, I can say that.
Quickly flick through words there. He's gone. He's out. He's not.
I've got love for them all, really. In my heart of hearts, you know what I mean. I've got love for them all. So I turned up and I saw Philip doing what he was doing, and then in them days it was just like a DAT machine and a digislate and a speaker with sound playback. It was so simple, you know what I mean. And I was like, I can do that with my eyes shut. I trained as a sound engineer, you know what I mean. So, and then what happened was that, and I know there was a guy, a second AD that used to work for Martin, a guy called Adam. I can't remember what his last name was. Yeah, ginger hair. He was a really nice second AD, and he obviously got a job, right, that had come into him, and I was still learning about how you get the work coming in, you know what I mean, and he was obviously too busy to do this job, right? And I turned up. He said to me, "Von, bring these people. There's a bit of running work. Get on with them, and you know what I mean, and just do this job." So basically, he passed me a job, you know what I mean, which I'm really, really blessed that he did do that, because I turned up on that job and I met 3 or 4 people. It was for a company called Image Dynamic Pictures, and it involved a guy called Johnny Adams. Do you know Johnny Adams?
No.
Johnny Adams, Phil Tidy, and
Phil Tidy, I know on Facebook.
Yeah. Right. So, and there was a couple of other producers that worked at this company, and from that one job, I was like employed constantly by these people. And Phil was like, "Well, what do you want to do?" You know what I mean? And I was like, "Well, I can do that. I can do that sound playback. I'll do that with my eyes shut." So I started doing sound playback quite early on in my running career. You know what I mean? And that went from, because Philip was the first person that I saw. Philippe Clavier was the first person that I saw do video and sound together. And I used to go settle up next to him, going, "What's with this sound business?" You know what I mean? With this video business. That's what I used to say to him. How'd you get the video into there? All I wanted to know was how you got the sound into the video. I didn't even know how to get the video from the camera. You know what I mean? But I thought, I'm going to have a go at this. You know what I mean? And slowly but surely, you know what I mean, I managed to get myself out there. And I went to see people like Jeff and Howie, and they gently showed me what I should be doing. And because for us as video ops, what my experience has been, you know what I mean, that you cannot go to school to learn what we do.
No.
You know what I mean? It's a baptism of fire. You sort of have to jump in at the deep end, and if you're lucky enough to have a video op that wants to show you how to do the job, you know what I mean, then your quid's in, basically. You know what I mean? and and then you can't learn everything in your training with a video op. You have to have problems turn up and work out how to overcome them on your own to be able to move forward as a video op. Because I always say this, that when it's going good, it's an easy job. You know what I mean? It's an easy thing to do. You know what I mean? If you know what you're doing, that is. You know what I mean? We actually get paid. I believe that we earn our money when problem solving. You know what I mean? So when things are going up against, because we always have to work with the camera department. We're not seen as a camera department. We're seen as our own entity. You know what I mean? And you're working with the camera department, and people in the camera department. You have to build a relationship with those guys, and which I have done. I love most people in the camera department. You know what I mean? Can't like everyone on set. You know what I mean?
Nah.
It doesn't work that way. You know what I mean? I'd be a liar to say that. You know what I mean? I've formed good relationships with many camera departments, and so what I'm trying to say is that we get paid for overcoming problems and making sure them problems are overcome, and no one knows that you've got that problem. That's where you earn your money. You know what I mean?
It.
That's where you earn your money in this game. You know what I mean? And that's where because I've been on jobs where the transmitters are not working, and something's gone wrong, and then you have to you have to get a line in, you know what I mean? But you're out in the middle of nowhere, you know what I mean? And you've got to string a line to the camera, and then the camera, you've got no communication. Your day's getting stressful. You've got no communication going on between you, the first AD, and the camera department. They've unplugged you and they fucked off like 50 yards up the road, you know what I mean? And you're like, well, I ain't got a picture. But no one's told you that you've been unplugged, It's these little simple things, you know what I mean? And then, you have to know your system well enough to look at it and go, oh, well, that only happens when that is done. Do you see what I'm saying? There's always a reason why something goes wrong within your operating system, whether that be doing video and sound together. There will always be a reason why it's not working, and you need to know what that reason is as soon as the problem arises. Do you know what I mean? As opposed to the problem arises and you think to yourself, oh, I haven't got a clue what that problem is, so I'm going to have to, hunt around to find out what that problem is. You know what I mean? Does that make any sense?
Yeah. Well, you're kind of saying that it feels like it's experience of learning is a super important thing for, and even for all departments. And you're right. We get paid, and I guess as you were saying it, I was kind of going through all the departments in my head. I'm like, it's probably true for every single department. There'll be stuff that happens that the runners have to fix that they won't tell me, and I'll never know. There's stuff that I'll fix that I will never tell the first because they don't need to. And then there'll be stuff that I had to fix, tell the first, and he won't tell the director, or she won't tell the director. Do you know what I mean? It's all about that problem solving. And I think Katie Smith said it on her episode, where she was like, you don't just push problems up the chain of command. You only go up there when you can't, when you've absolutely exhausted every single option, and then come at me with solutions. So it's not just, oh, I can't do this. I can't get picture. It's, look, I couldn't get picture, but I can get you picture if I do this and this. And I need 5 minutes for that, and I need an hour for that. But the hour will give you, do you know what I mean? It's communication and understanding. Man, I love it. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you know what? There are more high pressure jobs than certain for other, than other jobs within our industry. You know what I mean? And I've always drawn the line at being able to actually fuck the shoot up. Excuse my language. You know what I mean? So there's only, I don't, I can handle slowing it up. You know what I mean? And getting into trouble that way, but actually fucking the whole shoot. I don't go there. That's not. That's not my realm, and I don't want to be anywhere near that. So that's why I've always stayed where I am. Because I've seen people that have made, moves from one department to another. You know what I mean? And that's all well and good. But I kind of like my department, and I like what I do, and yeah, you know what, we're blessed to do the job that we
Yeah.
do. You know what I mean? I can, you know, when I'm working and I'm tired and, you know, we're up against it, I can be thinking, you know what, it'd be nice to have a 9 to 5 job now. You know what I mean? Finish at like fucking
I'll be in the
5 o'clock.
pub
Go
now, or
back
I'll be
there.
down
Yeah.
at the football, or I'll be down
Exactly.
at the
Yeah.
meal with the wife or the kids.
Yeah,
Or, you know.
exactly. You know what I mean? And you know, and you know, and then you know, and then you know what? In my early days as well, when when it used to be really hard, you know what I mean, for whatever reason, you know what I mean. Sometimes I know this might sound a little bit stupid, and I don't know. But basically, what I would do is like when the chips were really down and I was really feeling it at 4 o'clock in the morning. You know what I mean? And knowing full well that I've got 3 hours sleep,
Yeah.
and then I'm going on to another job. Oh, I've got to be back on this job again because we've all been there. I tend to just have a little look at pictures of my family, and then it sort of brings me into perspective of why I do what I do. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? And that, you know, and that's always a good thing. You know what I mean? It can always just push you on that little bit more. You know what I mean? And I mean, there's many different ways to get motivation out of a bad situation on set. You know what I mean? And it might be the relationship I have with you. You know what I mean? You know, if I'm really feeling it, you know what I mean? Then you know, I look at pictures and remind myself why I'm
You
here.
got pictures of me. You look at pictures of me.
Yeah, you know, the ones that you sent me.
Oh yeah, well you're not supposed to tell everyone.
Yeah, those ones. You know what I mean?
Nice.
So that's what I tend to do. You know what I mean? And that's what gets me through. You
Yeah,
know,
nice.
that's what gets me through. You know what I mean? And you know, because you know, sometimes even though we are we are doing an art form, sometimes it becomes a little bit more than that within the day and the constraints of what we're actually doing. You know, sometimes it can become more than that. You know, and lines get blurred, and people's frustrations tend to boil over. You know what I mean? And, you know, and it becomes, you know, a bit of a war zone. We were talking about before we started. We were talking about, you know, like certain industries and the togetherness of certain industries. And you turned around and you said about, you know, like people in the army. You know, there's been many jobs that I've been on. You know what I mean? Where I felt like we've been at war. You know what I mean? You know, like when you're out in the middle of Wales, or you're in Scotland, or you're in Ireland, and you know what I mean, and it's pissing down with rain, your gear's getting wet. You know what I mean? You're trudging through the mud. You know what I mean? And, you know, and nothing's really going your way. You know what I mean? Then it's like, you know, you know, I look about and I try not to get the victim side of me going on. You know what I mean? Oh, poor me, because I look around and I see everyone else on set is in the same thing, and you know, and it gives me that kind of lift of. Listen, you can tell by the person that I am. I don't, you know, I'm a team player. I love to play in the team. You know what I mean? That's what I like to do. You know, and that's why I choose to stay in the industry and the job that I'm in, because you know, I work as a team. I work with a team of people that, you know, that I can rely on. You know what I mean? And they can rely on me.
Is there many other industries that are as social? Because, you know, you kind of I talk to mates and they work in offices and finance and things and this, that, and the other, and they wouldn't for 1 second think about going to an industry part. Like, you know, it's like, that's a wrap. At the end of the year, how many other industries would be able to get hundreds of people and have an absolutely cracking time? Like, you know, it's like, oh yeah, the accountant party down on the 5th floor. It's like, no, we're having, this is a social industry. Like, everyone in it is a little bit, I think everyone's got to be a little bit bonkers. Just have a little bit of the, you know, I don't know how to describe it, but you know, to survive in the industry, you can't have the, you know, love a routine, love to be home for 6. You know, it's got to be something more to it. And you've probably seen so many people that come in and dip out of the industry.
Yeah. I've seen loads of people. I've opened the doors for people to come in and do what we do, and you know, and some of them have come in and got frightened by, you know, the hours that we do, and let's have it. And I'm not being funny or anything, you know what I mean? And I'm going to tell it like it is. The boredom factor, you know what I mean? Because it's not all, you know what I mean? It's not all excitement on a job. Sometimes when you're looking at a chip in a frying pan and the director's
For the fifth
finding
hour.
eight different, exactly, 18 different ways to make that chip look happy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You know, we've all been there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, you know, and you're right. You have to be a certain type of person to do the job that we do. But also, you touched on that thing of you know, us all getting together at the end of the year and you know and having a party. You know what I mean? We work hard. You know what I mean? We work really, really hard when we're working. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I believe that there is like a general understanding that if you work hard, you play hard. You know what I mean? You know, I mean, to tell the truth, you know, when we do that, that's a wrap. Me, Onka, Ben Ansell, and Rawdon. When we put that together, you know what I mean. Me and Rawdon are the only two people, right, that I know. You know, there might be a few other people that might beg to differ, and they might pull me up on this. But I know that in our team, me and Rawdon are the only two that don't drink. You know what I mean? You know, and you know, but we're still there at 6 o'clock in the morning. We're still there. You know, doing the hard. You know, the hard partying, you know what I mean? You work hard, you play hard, you know what I mean? You know, you deserve that. You deserve to give that to yourself. You know what? And you know, it's been a real pleasure over the last like 5 years to be a part of that Surat and doing that and seeing the face of it change, because we started in one kind of area of what we do, you know what I mean? And now we've ended up somewhere else, you know what I mean? And there's a lot of nice young people in our industry that support the cause, which is you know it's amazing, you know what I mean? And
well, it was you know, when it first got set up for, you know, such, you know, for the causes they got it set up for, you know, it means so much. Yeah, you know, I didn't want to go down the whole route of, but you know, it's like for someone passing away in our industry, that's the collective kind of grouping together to help out. I think it just speaks the world of why I love specifically working in London and working in commercials, because we are, and I always use the phrase film family, but we genuinely are. Like, we genuinely are. We kind of we sometimes spend more time. I can spend more time with you in a week than I do with my own family.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, let's have it right. I mean, everyone that works in this industry and that is listening to this podcast will know this. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, you know, we sacrifice things at our homes and you know, in our home life. You know what I mean? To achieve, all right, we get paid for it and we get paid handsomely, but to achieve, you know what is, because you never know. Sorry. To go off on a tangent, you know, you can turn up on a job and, you know, and they turn around and they say, yeah, we're doing a straight day. You know what I mean? And you've got a week's worth of work with one company and it's a straight day. And that very quickly turns into 18-hour days every day of the week. You know what I mean? And like, you know, you're earning loads of money. But at the same time, you know, you've left your kids at home and your missus at home, and, you know, your missus has to bring up you, or vice versa, your husband, you know what I mean? Let's get it right, you know what I mean? You know, so you've left your loved one at home, and your loved one's picking up the pieces for you whilst you're not there, you know what I mean? And, you know, that's you know, it's a bit of a price. Yeah, it's a bit of a price to pay. You know what I mean? I can remember being on a job and talking to a really famous cameraman. You know what I mean? And I remember him turning around. We was having we was on the back of the camera truck, and there was a few of us there, and we was having a conversation about home life and things like that, and the film industry. And he turned around, and this was early on in my playback career. You know what I mean? And I remember him turning around and saying, and I'll never forget this. He turned around and he said, "You know what this industry's given me? He's given me 3 ex-wives and 6 children." And I was like, "Wow!" You know what I mean? There you go. Wow. There's a statement. You know what I mean? There's a statement. So, you know, it just goes to show, you know, that
it does. You get like exactly what you've said. that Monday to Friday of 18 hours, and you get 2 days off to be husband, to be wife, to be mum, to be dad, to be partner.
Yeah.
You don't want to you don't want to get out of bed on that first
No,
day.
exactly.
And
You
and I'm
don't.
grumpy. Me personally, I'm a little bit grumpy. I'm a little bit shorter. I'm a little bit this. I'm not my normal self, because my normal self's just been, it's
Yeah.
just tired. Do you know what I mean?
You've left that, you know what I mean, on set, your normal self, you know what I mean? They got, you know, or should I say, they got left at the front door on the second day of of entering the film studio, you know what I mean? So yeah, so you know, and people don't realise that, you know, you know, and
You've got to have a strong support. Like, you know, if we're going to go into it, I'm like, my mum and dad. My dad is a rigger, works in live TV, amazing man. But he would have to go away for kind of 6-8 weeks during the summer. My mum was there by herself for that length of time, and it's really tough. And you've got to have a real strong support system to be able to kind of keep a marriage going and keep a relationship going.
Yeah, and I mean that, you know, and that is the realness of our industry. You know what I mean? Of like, you know, what we are quite prepared to do. As we said, you have to be a certain type of person to do our job, and you know, you have to be quite prepared to do certain things and put yourself second in line of what is actually happening in your life. You know what I mean? Which is really, you know, that's that's a big ask to ask any human being to put themselves, you know what I mean, behind what you know, what you're actually doing in a day's work. You know what I mean? Because you know it's important. You know, people you were talking about people that have been on there and talking about mental health. You know what I mean? The truth of the matter is that, you know, you have to be mentally stable to go to work. You know what I mean? You know, but like, there's not many jobs on this earth that you turn up with one thing in mind and to achieve it, you know, a certain amount of hours to achieve what you need to achieve, and that just gets torn up by lunchtime. You know what I mean? And you know that, well, hold on, we're in for it here. You know what I mean? You know, and you know, and you're getting 3 hours sleep per night. You know what I mean? And you know what I mean? You turn up, but I kind of like that. There's something in that I like. You know, I like that kind of you know, I've been on jobs where I've done like 24 hours. I mean, we've all done it. You know what I mean? Where you're pushing into 26 hours. You know, and then you know, who in their right mind would normally go to work for that amount of time?
Yeah,
You know
an
what I mean?
entire day. I did a promo for
Any time,
25 hours. A
yeah. I mean,
promo.
and I've done that. I've done that. You know, I've done that. You know, and it's you know, it's really taxing, and people don't realise it. You know what I mean? They really don't realise what you have to go through mentally, you know, to be able to deliver the goods. You know what I mean? And still be able to deliver the goods. Because listen, past 18 hours, things start going wrong.
Yeah.
You know, people's ability to deliver the goods at 18 hours are not like, you know, walking through the door you know, at 10 o'clock in the morning. You're not giving them the same.
Yeah.
Do you see what I'm saying? There's just no way on this earth that anyone's equipped to be able to do that. You know
And that's when we need our like we were talking offline. It's like at 1 o'clock in the morning, when you know you've got another 3, 4, 5 hours to go. That's where your relationships with the crew and your friendships with people, you get like you're pulling each other through it. It's like you're on some sort of weird, like sponsored, like sleep fest where you're not supposed, you know, it's like no one can sleep and we've all got to pull each other through it, and you're just like trundling up a mountain, and you're like, you know, they're the times that suddenly you build these and forge these relationships that, you know, I guess with you having been doing it so long, you'll have friends that are outside the industry, but your friends, the people that you work with, do become some of your best mates. It's just
for
how it
sure.
is.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you know, I've got, yeah, I would say that I would say, yeah, a large percentage of my close friends work in our industry. You know what I mean? There is, you know, you know, there's something about, as you get a little bit older, the bullshit kind of dissipates. You know what I mean? And you know, you've worked with people for long enough to know, you know, about them. You know about their partners. You know about their children. You know what I mean? You know about their struggle every day in their jobs to deliver what they need to deliver, and how much shit that they have to go through. You know what I mean? And all of the bullshit dissipates. You know what I mean? And you become really good mates with these people. You know what I mean? Because you realise that you're all on the same page. You know, and you know, and you're all working towards the same cause. You know what I mean? And yeah, and you know, there's something in that inspires me. You know what I mean? And brings me along. You know what I mean? As I said, I love being around people. I love, you know what I mean?
You're the centre of the film set.
I love joking. I love laughing. I love joking. I love, you know what I mean? Because I can remember when I first came into the industry, it wasn't like that for me. And I've always been the same person.
Did you have to like put on a really posh voice? Oh, hello, my name is
Mr.
Von Adams.
I was just frightened to make jokes because you listen to other people. Because when you first come in, you know what I mean? There is that thing as runners, you know what I mean? And you all end up like in like a little like, I don't know, a kitchen somewhere, and you're talking about so and so, and you know, and he's a legend, and you know, and she's done this, and you know, don't cross that person because like they're really, really moody, you know what I mean, and you know, and they can become really hard work, you know, and these people have like reputations. That's my missus, by the way.
Hello, Len. Hello.
And these people have reputations that precede themselves, you know what I mean? So therefore, when I first came into the industry, I was, you know, you get like a little bit nervous around certain people, and then you get to know them, and you think to yourself, why was I even bothered about that?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Or you might have, you know, I've had situations where I've had one or two crosswords with people, you know what I mean? And you know, and it's just
does the boxing come in handy at that point?
Well, yeah, you know what? I've been lucky enough not to have to have actually got into physical violence on set. You know, I have had, you know, one or two rows with people, but you know what the funny thing is that once it's going back to that thing. Once all the bullshit's dissipated around that, and then you sort of realise that, hold on, this person's not going anywhere, and I'm going to see this person, you know, quite a lot on set.
Yeah.
You know, maybe we should just put our hands out and let that go. You know what I mean? Nice. And I've done that with people, and they've become really good close mates of mine. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. You know, sometimes you meet people head on. You know what I mean? And then people know that what you are prepared to accept and what you're not prepared to accept. You know what I mean? And, you know, and there's nothing wrong with that as long as you're not rolling around on set. You know, the fight the first AD, or you know what I mean. You know what I mean. So, you know, people need to, you know, they need to be able to be allowed to express their feelings. That's what I'm trying to make. You know, it can't be all one way where you have to shut up and you know what I mean, and like not express the way that you feel. You know what I mean. You know, and you know what the other thing is as well is that what I've learned in this industry is that we get hired for the jobs that we are, for the people that we are, and the jobs that we do. And you know what I mean. And sometimes you might get a person that won't allow you to do your job. You know what I mean? Because they feel that they know better. You know what I mean? And it's like, well, hold on, you don't do this job. You should be listening to what I'm saying to you. You know what I mean? And make the day run smoother for everyone, and we will achieve exactly what you need to achieve. You know what I mean? And sometimes, you know, you get a little bit of that in she's just put the kettle off. Can you hear that?
I love it. I mean, I kind of fancy I might need a cup of tea in a bit.
Yeah, exactly. So sometimes you get those what's the word I'm looking for? You get those meetings of minds, should we say? You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
So like with all of this, I guess with all the experience, with the personality that you are, with the kind of the vibes that you like to give out on set, if you were now talking to that younger you and you're just coming in, what are you telling that young Von starting off in the film industry?
Be yourself. Definitely be yourself. Don't be someone else when you turn up on set. You know what I mean? Of what you think that people want you to be, or what you think that it should be. Just be yourself. Use common sense, you know what I mean, and try and be on the ball and attentive to what is going on around you. With those things, you can go far. You know what I mean?
Oh, woo-hoo-hoo. Ladies and gentlemen, I love it. So Zoom's kind of gives me a counter. I feel like we've done nearly an hour,
Yeah.
45 minutes of chat, and I've absolutely loved it. It's been amazing.
Yeah.
And toward like the end of the ep, I always like to just I'm sitting on this little roller chair. I push my chair away. I give you the floor. If there's a person, an organization, if there's someone or something or anything, like just any shout outs or anyone you want to send love to or anything that you want to highlight, the floor is yours. Take as long as you want. I'll go make a cup of tea and I'll go. Who do you want to say? Who do you want to send some love to?
Well, basically, I want to send some love to Phil Tidy, because it was Phil Tidy and John Adams that actually, and Martin Serene, because that's where it all started for me. You know what I mean? So Martin was the person that gave me the opening. He opened the door, and I stepped through it. I like to say that I kicked the door off and arrived. Yeah, but I never. I stepped through it, and then Phil Tidy and John Adams actually gave me the belief in myself to push on and do. And this is early on in my career, you know what I mean, to do what I needed to do, you know. And as my career's gone on, you know, the lot of RSA, you know what I mean, the whole family at RSA have been really good to me, you know what I mean. They've been like a bedrock for me to actually earn a living, you know what I mean? Because I know, you know, I know what, you know, everyone knows what they're doing now at this stage of the game. If you don't, then you're in trouble.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, you know, and just like, you know, you know, I want to say thank you to people like Tony Crouch and Carl Taggart. You know what I mean?
Nice.
Because they're two major players in what we do. You know what I mean? Along with the Booth brothers. You know what I mean? And Robbie. You know what I mean? And Mickey Richards. You know what I mean? You know, and Nick Barber, you know what I mean? You know, there's loads of, and who else? Nate is it Valentino or Valentine?
Yeah, Valentine. Yeah.
You know, and Chaz Northam, you know, all of the people that do the same job as me, I want to send a shout out to them, you know what I mean? Because we do have a love for each other. Maybe, you know, we don't, because we don't work, you know, it's difficult for us, you know what I mean? Because we don't actually spend time on set with each other, you know what I mean? Unless you split, you know, sound and video together, playback that is, and you split the sound and video together, then you might end up with working with your contemporaries, you know what I mean? And I just want to say thank you to them all, because they've all shown me a lot of love, you know what I mean?
Great.
You know, and that, you know, and that's really important, you know what I mean? Really, really important. I want to say thank you to, you know, people like Rick Willard, you know what I mean?
Yeah, nice.
I like Rick a lot, you know what I mean? You know, your Pete Nashes, your Howie Nichols,
all of them.
You know what I mean? Rawdon,
yeah,
Ben Ansell, Onka, you know what I mean? Richard Oxley, you know what I mean?
The Ox.
These are all people that I have personal relationships with, you know what I mean, and that I have a lot of love for, you know what I mean. Your Scott Horans, producers, you know what I mean. You know, people that just allow you to be yourself and take you for face value. You know what I mean. It's really important that we have that, especially in the times that we're at now. You know what I mean, because I you know, I believe that, you know, I speak to a lot of young kids that come through our industry. You know what? I'm going to touch on it, right? I speak to a lot of young black kids that come through our industry, and they find it a bit of a struggle. You know what I mean? And one thing I say to them all is never, ever give up on what you believe in and what you want to do. And most importantly of all is just be yourself. You know what I mean? So people see you. You know what I mean? And you know, and it's really important. You know what I mean? Because there's you know, not just, you know, you know, it's not just because the industry that we work in is male dominated. You know what I mean? For sure. You know what I mean? So, you know, and we work with a lot of wonderful women. You know what I mean? that do fantastic jobs in what they do, and they've had an uphill struggle. You know what I mean, to get to where they need to be. You know what I mean. So, I want to shout out to those as well. You know what I mean. And yeah,
Love it.
just whoever's coming through the door, don't be told no, that you can't do it. Don't, just do it. You know what I mean? Just do it. Believe in what you want to do. You know what I mean? And all will become apparent. You know what I mean? Because you may start off in one area of what we do and end up in another. You know what I mean? And be happy with that. And I've seen a lot of that as well. And I want to send my appreciation to all those that have stuck around in the industry, because it's not an easy thing to do. You know what I mean? It's not an easy thing to do at all. No. If people think it's easy until the chips are down. You know what I mean? And things ain't going your way, and you know what I mean. And that's when the tough get going.
I feel like your song's going to be coming on now. It's like Rocky. You're getting me all pumped up.
Do some push-ups in the garden in a minute after that.
I love it. Well, look, I'm going to give you the Film Gods round of applause. I've absolutely had an amazing time, man. Like, amazing time. It's been amazing.
It's always a pleasure to spend time with you.
Oh, God. When do we get him? Come on, let's get back. Let's do this. It's like this there. The industry's coming. I can see it. I can see it. The light is there. Well, look, ladies and gents of the Film Gods, the listeners, like, don't even try and convince yourself that you didn't just enjoy listening to this. So just go share it. Go show everyone. I want to thank you, because not only have you kind of shown the side of yourself that we all kind of show at work, which is the good side, the best side, the happy side, the jovial side. You actually touched on some really interesting and personal subjects there about how tough it can be. And for that, I'm truly grateful, because yes, it is amazing. And yes, we work in an amazing industry, but there are some real tough elements to it. And everyone that's listened has probably felt that at one point in their life. And if someone is listening and mental health is a massive thing that is affecting them or a loved one, the Film and TV charity, go there. They've got there's a helpline, and the film industry seems to have, in this lockdown period, kind of got closer together. It's like, we're like penguins in this thing, and like this massive storms come, and instead of just letting everyone go off, we've all just kind of huddled in. And that's what's I'm getting all goosebumpy. But it is, and you've started that conversation for me, and you've helped bring that out, and everyone's probably listening going, not only is he funny, but he's damn deep, and thank you so much for kind of touching on the topics, man. So thank you very much. I'm going to give you a second round of applause just because you deserve it.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, I loved it. So ladies and gents, thank you for listening. Subscribe, as I said, share. Thank you for keeping us in the charts. We hit Spain, where we got into Brazil. The only continent we haven't reached on is Antarctica. I need to chart. Genuine. I've charted in every continent apart from Antarctica. So Film Family, let's do it. Let's get there. Let's get those emperor penguins. Let's get them listening. But ladies and gents, I love you all. Yeah. I love you all so much. Have a lovely, lovely week. Have a lovely weekend. And until we meet again, ladies and gents, that is a wrap. So that was a chat with the king or queen in the game. I'll give it a shout at the end so you all know the name. It's the Film Gods Podcast. The what? The Film God Podcast.